Hello and welcome to Extra Connections. I'm your host, James Jr. I forgot my water, but oh well. If that's how that works, is this television? Is how we do
you
this?
Can grab your water if you want.
No, we're gonna let it go. Let it go. Don't caution to the wind. No, I have some
okay, caution to the wind. It is.
Yes. If I start choking, somebody has to save me. Somebody save me. I don't know.
I'll save you.
You'll save me. I'm James.
I'll virtually save you. I'll save you virtually.
Virtually, yo. Virtually. I know it's like grammar. How do you do it? Like, let's eat grandma or let's eat grandma. I always love that thing. It's hard to Anyway, I'm James Jr. and I'm your host. This is my network, JLJ Media. And actually, you can tell already, we're having fun already. I have somebody who is in 3 films right now, 13 minutes, Ask Me to Dance, and Bring on the Dancing Horses. But he also grew up with somebody who was in the business already. What's about that? And he has a special gift, which is about that also. Help me welcome Gabe Jarret.
Hello.
You're like my special gift. Actually, I want to start with that.
I'm like, wait, what's the gift? I'm like,
you know which one it is, Gabe.
I've been accused of being God's. No, just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Being special. Yes, we got that.
Yeah. He thinks he is.
He thinks he's special. No, I want to start with something that's very interesting because I've never talked to anybody about this before. You're also an American Sign Language interpreter.
I am.
So can you tell me where that came from for you? And do you have anybody deaf in your family, or you just
No, I don't have anybody deaf in my family. It actually came out of necessity. As an actor, you know, your income goes up and down as the jobs wax and wane, and sometimes it's feast or famine. And that up and down thing just really wasn't gelling with me, and I did every horrible job that you can think of that actors do, except wait tables, which is weird. But you know, I mean, I did really horrible jobs that were just, you know, to make ends meet during the leaner times, and I went, you know what, and I'm tired of this, you know, binging and purging, and you know, this wave of you know, from year to year. So I needed to find another career. Because I'm never going to stop being an actor, and that's my passion. That's what I love to do. But sometimes to do that, you gotta find something to do in the meantime, and you know, fill your time. So I actually sought it out. And the funny thing is no, I don't have any deaf in family, but the skill set of an interpreter is pretty much the same as an actor: facial expression, body language. One of my classes that I took for like a intro to sign or something like that was actually it resembled a basic acting class. I mean, it was really that simple with sense memory and all the rest of it. So yeah, I just started working, and now I've got 2 careers.
That's right. That's very cool, because I know here in LA during the pandemic, the sign interpreters got very famous. Kind of like every day they were coming on. There was this chick and there was this dude. They both like the bomb. Which I love the chick. She was like so good. And it was like she had this face like.
I know both of them. I know both.
Oh, you do? You know that? Yeah, oh my God, you know them.
The guy was my boss several times. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, small world. Wow. I love them. They were good, and I was like, I was kind of watching them. Not even watching them talking about. I like watching the people talking.
Ends up happening quite a bit, actually. You know, you try and shrink back into the background, and it doesn't work really. Everybody's like looking at you.
But they both were good. They both looked like they had the animation. They're like getting that because, you know, our leaders that were talking, they have emotion, and they're like totally, you know, they were getting into it.
Yeah, and if you saw the interpreter that I think it was one of the hurricanes, Saturday Night Live did a whole skit on it.
Yeah.
She was really emotive, and I think one of the governor of New York at the time, I forget which one. Anyway, so he was actually saying, hey, you know, he was getting panicked a little bit because you could see he'd been up for days, and like the wind is blowing and it's much bigger than he thought it was, and everybody's yelling at him, and you know, so he's actually speaking. He's a little panicked, and the interpreter was doing a fantastic job and was matching him perfectly.
Yes,
but it means she's more expressive, and she's like, where a sign language kind of pulls focus anyway. Now she's like, get your ass to the, you know, and. And
I love
it. And it's like everybody got down on her a little bit. Oh, she really went over the top. And no, she did exactly what
he was doing. Exactly.
And that's her job. She did it very well.
Yes, I do. I love that. I love that you did it. I have a friend who signs songs, current songs. He's on YouTube. He signs them. That's his thing.
And I'm assuming you saw the Wu-Tang Clan interpreter.
Yes.
Yes. Oh yes. Yes. They what was that? Yeah, they're super expressive. I must tell you though, signing songs is kind of like listening to songs. It's like if you try to pick up all the words in a song, you're gonna hear, you can hear it your whole life and be like, wake up like a douche. Did he say douche? What did he? You could do, and it's the same with sign. It's like half the time I'm going, what the heck is she signing? I have no clue, but boy, it looks really good, doesn't it?
Well, here's my thing, because I speak Spanish and I've never been an interpreter. I've never been a straight up interpreter. I've had someone say something, I go, oh, well, she means this, but I've never talked
in real time.
Right, at the same time. So where does your brain go to do that?
It's actually it's being used quite a bit, because you're naturally you're interpreting one language to another, and just like Spanish, the conjugation and the it's completely reversed at times, the grammar and such, and so you end up I don't want to say paraphrasing, because you're not.
Right, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But you're grabbing all of the same salient points of whatever is being said, and you're running it through the translator, and you output it in your interpretation. It really is an interpretation, not a translation. So it's really an interpretation of what that person is saying, complete with all the all the references to that would make sense in sign language, but don't make any sense in English. Right. And same with Spanish or Russian or any other language.
Yeah, no, it's like catching the key words, key points, which you have them, and being able to translate them in a way that is still saying kind of what they're saying.
Well, no, it's saying it should be saying exactly what they're saying, except it's not word for word. It's like there's an idiom in sign language it says train gone.
Okay.
Well, in English, the interpretation would be, well, you missed it. Train gone.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
You missed it. Or I'm too late.
Yeah.
Train gone. That's gone.
So
that if I were to do word for word and say train gone in English, everybody would look at me like, what are you in kindergarten? What is that?
Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay. No, thank you. I was very curious.
It's all good. I love talking about it.
I thought it's very curious. My mother took finger-spelling in college.
Nice.
So she knows a little bit. So
yeah. If you can finger spell, you can get your point across very slowly.
Very slowly. No, very slowly, but
they will understand you, and you'll be all good.
I don't like that. I like that. Very cool. All right. So I want to talk about your father was a screenwriter.
He is
a
screenwriter.
Yeah. So yes. I was like, because you're an actor. This is something. There's two different careers, but he's in the industry. So you grew up
in the industry. Yep.
So did you grow up with that, or no? Was it like that was his job? It was very separate from you, where you lived at home. Like, how was that for you?
It was an interesting question, actually. Good question.
Thank you.
Well, it was his job, and it wasn't exactly separate, because I grew up in Malibu, so it's kind of an industry town.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone's either a producer, a writer, a director, an actor, and so like we kind of ran into all the people that my dad would be working with, and folks that people would recognize and watch throughout the years. But he didn't want me to be an actor.
I'm sure.
He didn't want me to do anything in the industry. He was just like, forget it, because he knew the struggles, trials, and tribulations that he went through. And didn't want me to do it, and unfortunately I just took to it like a fish to water, and didn't even tell him. What?
You didn't tell him?
No. I when I first started, I was like 11-ish, somewhere in there, and I didn't tell him what I was doing, and there back in the day, there used to be a magazine called Variety. You see?
That's right. It's folks, it's still there. It's just kind of
still there. It's now digital. Now it's digital.
Yeah, it's digital. Yes.
And Variety, they used to have like ads in the back of the magazine that said, audition for blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I went and I sent my a picture that I took with my own camera and just like, and sent my picture in and got an audition. I took the bus to the audition, and my dad found out because I got the job, and they called my
That's
house.
hilarious. Oh my
They called
God.
my house, and my dad was like, "Wait, who? Disney? You're asking for my son, not me."
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so like, oh, by the way,
Wow.
yeah. And so
Okay.
it led to my first job, which was Mousercise.
Which I remember.
Mousercise. Oh, if you remember, I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry.
I didn't say I loved it. I decided you married.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm apologizing.
Yes, I remember it. But no, that's fair. I would have. I mean, what if one of my kids called me like, "Oh, it's Disney on the phone for you?" I mean, I'd be like, "What?" Like,
You'd be like, Disney what? But
yeah, I don't realize Disney what.
What, did you steal something from the store again? No, not
exactly.
the store, the studio.
That's what. Okay. And I always hear this from people who are in the business because we know how the business is. Like, you know how the business is. That we know how it's like. Oh, don't get in it. But now, okay, so for you, that's your first little piece of, you're like, you got bit by the acting. You're a bit, and you're doing it. But like, did you have friends who were in the business at your age? I would say
yeah, exactly. And my friends have been doing it since they were like 5.
Right.
So I mean, I was already going, well, I want a TV show.
I love it.
Like, I didn't understand, like, why don't doesn't every kid have their own TV show? Doesn't every kid have their own, it's like, no, they don't. And so that there were some hard truths that I had to learn.
But Gabe was funny. I grew up in LA also. I grew up in LA, and I have some people in my life who are relatives who are in the business. And it's one of those kind of weird things where we do take for granted in Los Angeles that everybody's in the business of some sort. I mean, they're just they could be background people, key grips,
whatever. So
Right. So we're used to. So it's almost like you can step on an actor here. There's a million of them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There's a million of them. I frequently do, actually. Come to find out, it's my own foot sometimes. But
yeah, he steps on actors. But that's what we mean. But you know what I mean? Like I realized growing up that my growing up was different than people in other cities. And they're like, you saw so-and-so, you met so-and-so, you saw, like, I would have all these stories of like, I went to camp with so-and-so's kid, I do Kim Fields, like, they're like, how do you know? I'm like, I went to school. I mean, like, I didn't go to any special school. I didn't like do anything.
No. But you run into so many people in the industry that you're just like, you've had enough of it. By the time your relatives come out and they're like, ooh, look, it's Tom Hanks. I'm like, yeah, well, tell him to stop cutting in line. I want my food.
Right, exactly. It was so funny. Okay, so I was at a Starbucks. This was like years ago. I was at a Starbucks on Beverly and La Brea. It's still there.
Okay.
And I was waiting for my coffee. And I was standing there, and then they said my name. Actually, here's the thing. So here's a trick, you guys at home. My name is James. It's super common. So whenever I go by my middle name, Harrison. It's not as common.
Okay.
I go, Harrison, here's your mocha or whatever.
No, they didn't.
There's a guy on the phone and talking loud, going, yes, guy, I think he just took my mocha and blah blah. I'm looking, I'm like, no, this is my mocha. And I don't see his full face. And he's on the phone like, yeah, he just stole my mocha, blah blah blah. And just going on this whole tirade. And turns out it's the director.
The
director.
I thought you were gonna say it was Harrison Ford.
No, died. I'm saying, but it was literally the director of American Werewolf in London, the director of Michael Jackson's Thriller, the director of it was like it's like completely this huge person, huge name.
Did you know him? Did you know his name? Did you already know who he was before that?
No, I didn't. At first, I didn't until I think I saw him in the behind the scenes of Thriller. Back when we had tapes.
Right.
We had VHS tapes.
Yeah.
I think I saw him, but when they called his name out, I was like, wait a minute. You did Thriller. You did you did this. And so we had a huge laugh. And he was like, I thought you took I was on the phone. I was saying, but that's so LA, right? That's just such an LA. One time I ran to Pam Anderson back in the 90s at Mel's Diner on Sunset. And I was like, Pam, I love you. And I was all drunk. And I was saying, she was so nice. It was like, you saw Pam Anderson, you get to meet her. I met her. She was great. I mean, it's just one of those things that we kind of take it for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you said, like because when you said that, I was like, that's how I thought too. Does everybody have shows? Everybody's in a business?
Right.
Like,
Everybody's, yeah, of course they do.
but they don't.
Well, but that's what you asked what got me interested, and then that was it. You know, I had friends of mine that were in it, and I was around it all the time. So I mean, that's why I started. Then once I started doing it, I was like, oh, I really like this. And, you know, I was the kind of kid that would get up and like my parents keep telling the story, like they took me to a puppet show. And at the end of the puppet show, everybody clapped. And of course, you know, I was like 4 or something. I got up and took a bow. And that's when my mom at least realized that, yeah, he might be destined for this anyway. You know,
I like they took a bow. I
took a bow. Like, oh, they must be clapping for me. I just assumed. My bad.
I love that.
I mean, why wouldn't they be?
Well, that answers my question. My next question was like, were you always an extrovert? But that was.
I was always an extrovert. I mean, I knew I was built for it. I didn't know that I would enjoy it quite as much as I did.
Well, when did you know, Gabe? When did you know that you could really make money at this, though? Like you're being an extrovert, you did a few things.
Well, your bank account tends to tell you that one. I mean, you know, if you haven't made anything, it tends to be 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, unfortunately, because I did Real Genius one before I hit puberty. You know, and my dad was all gung-ho about, you know, you kid, I am not buying you a car. You're gonna work for this. You're gonna go and get and do this, and you're gonna muck stalls. You're gonna go clean out horse trailers, and you're gonna go do this and, you know, make your money, and that's the way you're gonna get your car, because I ain't gonna pay for it, and you're gonna pay the insurance, you know. And I was 14. So by the end of that year is when I got Real Genius, and I pretty much made it in a week. You know,
yeah, right, exactly right.
You know, and my dad was like, "Oh God, there goes that lesson." Okay, yes. Back to the drawing board.
But let's stop there for a second. Isn't that really interesting? Like, I've had a couple of jobs where I got the paycheck, and I'm like, if I could do this all the time, like literally, that's what all it takes. Like, that's really all it takes. People have no idea.
Yeah.
Somebody show. I've did a couple of shows. And I'm like, I got paid that much? Like, okay, I mean, I gotta do it. I mean,
and you don't necessarily know what the number is until you get the check, or until, you know, and especially with residuals. I mean, there was one in particular. I actually, in my mind, I went, "Where's the comma?"
Right, yeah.
Literally, like, what the, you know, it was like jaw on the floor, and like, but you know, that's rare. It's really few and far between. And usually there's so many years that are famine before the feast, and then you know, you end up paying everything to 0, and then now you're at 0 again. You're like, whoa, okay, and then back into famine. So
I like that. No, but I want to say something, because before we even go further into your acting thing, it says you got accepted to UCLA.
I did.
Which is so I'm saying, so were you also a good student? Like, you just
I was a terrible student.
Oh.
I got accepted by the skin of my teeth. My dad is an alumni. I'm sure I'm sure that made a difference.
Yes.
They really, 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 really wanted me to go to college, and I really, really, really didn't want to go.
Okay.
I was a straight A student up until about 9th grade, and then that was a difficult year for me. And it did not. It coincided with the movie, actually. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, but that's not what made it difficult. What made it difficult was there was so much turmoil around my schedule and what have you, and I ran into some teachers that were not so very pleased with me.
Oh, okay.
And so that kind of got me soured a little bit on the whole process of it. And so I stopped doing my best, is what I did.
Okay.
And so I started going, you know, in the grades, and I had to battle them back up before I graduated, which I did. But by that time I had taken the CHSP, the California High School Proficiency Exam.
Yeah.
So I was already graduated. I could walk away and do nothing.
Wow.
And I'd still have a diploma, but you know, again, my parents going, no way, you are going to graduate with the rest of them.
Okay.
And so I did. I graduated. So I have technically, I didn't go to college until I started interpreting, but that was many, many years later when I finally figured out what I wanted to do. The reason I really didn't want to go is because I had no idea what I wanted to do. If I was going to go into UCLA, I would want to do it as a film major, but they didn't. Back then, it was like I had to go in undeclared and just all, and then I had to take, even though I had all these college prep courses that I had struggled through, and they put me into Calc A, Calc B is what I think they put. Wait, I don't belong in algebra. There's no reason. There's no godly reason for me to be in that class. And because I was just not the student to do it. I couldn't do it. I did it, but again, barely. And they wanted me to retake some stuff, and I just was like, you know what? I need a break. I need a break. And I'm glad I did, because it afforded me the opportunity to figure out what was going on with me as an actor, to make those struggles, to just get by on the lean times, and realize that, okay, if I go back, I want to go back with a focus that I know I want to do. And that brought me to the interpreting, and then boom, there you go. Now I've got two careers.
Well, my thing is, I think school should be almost practical for you. Like, you should go to school for a reason, not just to go. We're taught as kids, just go to school, and whatever.
Go to school. Yeah, you're going to college. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, no. I mean, I think that comes out of our my parents' generation for sure, where it's like a diploma. A GED, I'm sorry, a BA, GED, something. A bachelor's is going to be the bare minimum of what you're going to need to get a good job, and now we're in an age where that BA doesn't mean anything anymore. Now they would rather have a kid that went to trade school and learned how to do the job that they're hiring him to do. And that kid is going to do much better than you are, because he knows his job. He knows what he's supposed to do.
It's funny you say that, because I have a lot of people who are going to trade schools,
you bet,
and they're getting jobs. They need more mechanics. They need more plumbers. They need more. They want somebody who knows this.
Right. And they don't want to sit there and have to baby and spoon feed somebody that kind of does, but really knows a little bit about everything. And no, I mean, there's something to be said about general education and education, being a well-rounded student.
Right.
There's another thing to be said about getting the job done. And that's what employers kind of are looking for now.
So we talk about real geniuses, of course, of course I know that.
Right.
Of course. I'm not that. I mean, you say whatever you want or not want. I don't know how you feel about this, but I like Val Kilmer's work and stuff.
I love Val Kilmer's work.
I love his stuff. So I'm just wondering, so for you, you're 14 years old, back in his heyday when he was like, stuff. Yeah. What was it like working with him?
Val was,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Now everybody gives him a hard time, because Val was difficult to work with when he was younger. And I say when he was younger, and I do mean that, because from what I know of his later work and later on, he got progressively better and better and better. I hit him when he was just starting out. And also I was 14.
Right.
And not too many, actors or lead actors, especially ones that are just coming up in their career, are going to want to share the entire screen with a 14-year-old kid.
Right.
And especially in his defense, actually, what you see on screen between him and I is kind of how we were off screen too. He was really fun when he was there with me. And when we parted ways on the set every day, I might not see him again for the rest of the day, because he's either hibernating in his trailer or fighting with this person, fighting with that. He really was giving people a hard time. Not me though. He didn't really give me a hard time. I think, to his credit, I think he really wanted to make the best of our relationship so it could translate on screen. And I think it did. I think it did. So he was not himself. No, that doesn't sound right.
Exactly. I know what you mean.
he didn't give me the difficulty that I hear he gave other people.
Yeah, I hear it too. Yeah, but I must say though,
but yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were saying if you watch.
I was saying if he watches this show at all, I love you. Well, I'm a fan of yours. I mean, I like your work. That's what I'm saying. Like, go ahead. What you were saying?
Ditto. I'm a huge fan of his work. I thought that I couldn't watch Tombstone without Val Kilmer in it. I just couldn't. Like all of my favorite actors just fell all over themselves on the worst movie I've ever seen on paper.
Yes.
Yet, here's Val doing this amazing job and like noteworthy beyond noteworthy. I mean, It's just, he really is a fantastic actor.
Yes, no, yes, I totally agree with that. Now, I'm going to switch from that to something totally different.
Okay.
Another actor.
I'm
curious you worked with, and I'm just curious. In the 70s, folks, there was late 70s a thing called Jiggle TV. ABC had Farrah Fawcett and all them on Charlie's Angels, and had Three's Company. So, did you know about Joyce DeWitt before you worked with her on Ask Me to Dance? Because I mean, she was iconic as part of Three's Company, part of Jiggle TV.
Absolutely. And all that. Are you kidding? Of course I knew about Joyce DeWitt. DeWitt, I mean, come on. She I'm gonna
show you something.
Oh, you got a picture. What do you got?
I'll show you something. It is.
I see a bunch of Christmas ornaments, etc., etc.
I have this on my mantle.
On your mantle.
I'll show you right now. Okay, stay up there. I am a fan of hers, actually. I've never met her.
How could you not be?
I have a glass of hers.
So my gosh!
Same time next year, back in 1996.
Oh my gosh!
So when I saw this in your bio, I'm like, I'm going to show him this because I would love to interview her one day. I'm a huge.
Oh my god! Well, you know what? I'll bet you anything she would love to be interviewed by you. She is so affable and approachable, and she's such a giving actress. She's just like, especially, at her age now. I mean,
right.
Right. But she's just so present for anybody that is there, whether they be background, whether they be another actor that's working the scene with her. If she doesn't know who you are, it doesn't matter. She's just she'll engage with you. And just a genuine, fantastic person all the way around.
I always thought she probably had more in, like, I saw her in that. She was great. But I said, I just always felt like, John Ritter, of course, was a genius on the show. And Suzanne Summers, of course, was great too. I mean, she was good too. Yeah. But they were the more showier roles.
Right.
She was the straight man.
Right. She was the straight man, yeah.
And I kept saying, that's hard. That's to be a good straight person. That's the point.
Extremely hard, because that's all she's doing all day is serving that ball up for somebody to spike it over the net. And her, yeah. I know the feeling.
yeah. So you do, and so you say, yeah, right. You know how that is. It's like you're supporting the one that's going to do.
Yeah, but again, she was the lead of that series. What? She wasn't supporting anybody, but her character is the one that's actually feeding up the joke lines, and feeding up for the punchline.
When I said, I was like, folks, Joyce DeWitt, come on my show. Come on my show. I want to talk to you.
Yes, absolutely. I reach out to her. I bet you anything she'll respond.
Yes, I want to do that. But you work with somebody. So on Ask Me to Dance, let's go right to that. What is that? What is that movie about?
Well, the movie is how much will Tom not be mad at me for?
Yeah, don't get. I was in trouble. Don't spoilers.
Well, it's written, directed, and starred in by my dear friend Tom Malloy, who's been in lots of stuff.
Yes,
and he is fantastic. The movie is really extraordinarily good. And it's his first time self-directing right out of the gate, which is always daunting for anybody. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it's about, well, let's put it this way: it's about folks that are two ships trying to meet, and they're not quite passing in the night, because the story will develop. Yet it's one of those things where it's like they're supposed to meet and they keep missing each other. So
okay.
Yeah, you'll get that if you see the trailer. It's really funny, and you'll kind of understand it a little bit. But these two are supposed to meet and just happenstance, by total coincidence, by total whatever. They, a truck drives by and obscures their vision, and like but they're supposed to meet. It's about destined lovers. Yeah.
Wow. Now you're also in a film with three incredible women: Amy Smart, Thora, Birch, and Anne Heche.
Yes.
And Anne Heche is something. I know she's something else.
Yeah.
Now this is very timely right now, actually, unfortunately.
Oh, no kidding.
That's a tornado thing, Quiver. So 13 minutes. So let's talk about that a little bit.
13 minutes. It's based on a true tornado that hit the town of El Reno, and that's where we shot. And it's
we shot there too. Oh wow.
Yeah. There were people that were that had actually been through it. Yeah. Oh, wow. But yeah, it's just it's actually an ensemble piece. So it's like you have Thora, Birch, and my sequence, and the folks that are we're together with Paz Vega, who's a brilliant actress. Love her.
Yes.
And there's that storyline, and then you got another storyline with Anne Heche and her team, and then the families over here. So you got the different. Trace Atkins is in it, and he's
okay.
Yeah, so like they've got the different camps, if you will, in this town, and you just see them all try to survive this tornado, this disaster, and what they go through, where they intersect, and all of that fun stuff. But it's a survival story,
I've been in tornadoes watches. I've been in electrical storms. I'm from the Midwest. I mean, I did all that.
Oh, wow. So you've actually experienced it.
Yeah, I experienced the thing. I mean, I was telling somebody the other day, because I lived in Pittsburgh in Ohio for years. And I said, I remember having to go to basements. The sky would turn this weird greenish color kind of thing, grayish, blackish color. And you had to go downstairs, and then you see all the lightning hitting, and it wasn't raining. It was just an electrical storm was going. It was just safer being inside. Or hearing the sirens go off for possible tornadoes. I mean, I was in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, and the hotel had no basements. So that's where I learned, folks.
Oh, that's because Virginia's not exactly Tornado Alley, huh?
No, it just happened to be one of those years I was there, and they said, grab a mattress, get in a tub, put a mattress over you. And I thought,
makes sense.
It made sense. So it was interesting, but it was just like they had no basements. There were just no basements to go to.
Oh my God!
That was very scary. So, yeah, that was very interesting. But usually in the Midwest, basements everywhere. Usually basements on that.
But that's as it turns out, not always going to be your savior.
I know, right?
From the school that oh my God.
I tell people, I'll take, there's two, you're from California, I'll take an earthquake any day. Sorry, I'll take an earthquake.
Oh yeah, no, earthquake, we're going about our day, things start to shake, a glass falls in the kitchen, you're like, what? Oh, we just had an earthquake. Anyway, and we just go on with our conversation.
Exactly. There's that famous scene in LA Story always stands up to me. It's so funny when they're all at lunch and earthquake happens, they continue talking. I mean, it's
right. They continue talking. Like,
nobody freaks out.
A telephone pole knocks down.
Right. Yeah, but sometimes I have family and friends who are like, oh, how you doing? I'm like, hurricanes and tornadoes, those things scare me. This is not an earthquake.
Yeah, because those things will, hurl a 2x4 through your head.
Right. No. Right. Right. Now you also you get to have a period piece, a limited series with Kate Bosworth. Nice big name. Yes, so let's talk about that. Bring on Dancing Horses. What do you play in that?
That is that's actually a series.
Yes, it's a limited series.
It's a limited series, and it's actually oh boy, how do I describe this? Okay, so Kate Bosworth in each episode is doing some killing. Okay. Let's put it that way. And I play Heckle. God, do I really? Am I allowed to even disclose this? How do I say this? My character is Heckle. I have a partner named Jekyll, and he and I are the cleaners that come and clean up the bodies that Kate has distributed all over the landscape. Okay. So that I think is as much as I can tell you about it. Okay. Because here's the thing: you will not necessarily recognize me right away.
Oh, okay.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
As well as the skill we talked about at the beginning of this program was utilized for my character.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, so I'll let you
Yes.
deconstruct that as much as you'd like. But that one's actually really interesting and one of the most challenging things I've done yet.
Good. Good.
Because yeah, it's like wow. So
And what streaming is it going to be? Streaming service, or what's it going to be coming out?
It is going to be. It is, but we don't know which platform yet. And we're going to be in Sundance coming up.
Good.
And that's as much as we know right now. But yeah, that one's a wait and see where it's going to come out. I'm really excited to see that because it was directed by Michael Polish, and if you know his work, he's like this visual master. You know, he's just this savant with the camera, and it was really nice. I was actually, afterwards, because let's put it this way, costume intensive was my character.
Okay, yes.
And so I couldn't necessarily see what was happening, in real time. I didn't get a good idea of what it looked like until I would see the playback, and I was like, good Lord, it looks good. Good. So yes, had a lot of good co-stars coming on that one too.
Wow, that's so exciting. I love it.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So what is one thing you have learned about yourself during this whole acting journey all these years? What is something you're like, okay, that's me. Like this is me.
One thing I've learned about myself is that I am more relaxed and calmer when things are chaotic around me. And I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's because the ADD extrapolated out into whatever. But if people are going crazy around me, like on a set when everything's moving and there's a timing thing and whatever, I get really, really calm and focused when that happens. Because there's a structure that has to happen.
Right.
Things have to happen in a certain order, and if the sun's going down, then you have to get this to that. And just got to make sure that you're on your game and know what's going on so that things run smoothly. And I find I'm more focused and I enjoy myself more when people are busy around me. Not to say that with me sitting down, I mean I'm busy too,
right?
But for some reason I get more. I feel like things are being taken care of, and I feel like I can focus more if things are chaotic, and that's something I learned about myself pretty quickly, actually. Wow. And it's true in other cases, not just when I'm working. I mean, it's true when anything is happening around me that's chaotic, and emergency situations tend to come to mind because we had a lot of fires growing up in Malibu and what have you.
And, that's true. Yeah.
That's another thing California is good for.
Yes.
And just when those things are happening, I guess maybe just I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's like my brain is going, oh, everybody else is doing what they're supposed to be doing, and it just puts me in a state of calm. I don't know why.
Well, it's almost that whole thing of like, oh, they're all going crazy. I don't need to add to it.
I don't have to add to it, right?
That's what it is. I mean, you're almost suddenly, it's that weird thing where suddenly you're like, ooh, I should be the one person that can just come
calm down. Calm down. Yeah, I can finally calm down. And it's just like, oh, I don't have to be the one that's.
I get it. No, actually, I get it. I get it. I've done too, where everything's going super crazy in the family. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'll let them do that. I'm fine.
Right.
Fine.
You can go and do your thing and read a book and do
exactly. No, I get it's a weird thing because it feels like it's opposing or it's like that shouldn't happen. That some folks will join into the
and they'll go nuts. And I've got relatives that'll just whip everybody up into a frenzy and they'll get louder and they'll get whatever. And like, no,
totally.
I'm happy. Man.
What now? Here's another question for you. What is one thing about the business that you wish you knew sooner that you know now?
Oh boy. Probably publicity.
Oh,
it's the selling yourself part of it that is always a lag time thing, and people start out. I mean, if you're if you're any sort of normal, you end up you hope that you have humility and you're not somebody that's that runs out and self promotes 24/7. It's like you don't. I want to try and be a humble person, and that is how I've always seen myself. Well, that doesn't always work well. As an actor, you are expected, like now, to come out and push the things that you're in because you want people to see them, because then that ergo you get seen and then you get another job. All of that stuff, it really is part of it, and nobody teaches you that.
Right.
To start with, you go to an acting class and they teach you, or they coach you how to bring the best whatever out of the scene, and you get all these techniques of what to do on camera. Or on stage, and you get all of those chops going, but nobody teaches you the self-promotion side of it and the publicity side of it.
Yeah.
Until you get there, and then it's usually deer in headlights. No matter, it's like, wait, I should do what? They sent me on. Yeah, they sent me on a press junket for Real Genius, and I didn't have a publicist. Biggest mistake.
Oh wow.
No, huge mistake on my part. But I did, again, I'm 15 at the time.
Right.
And I did not know this part of it. I knew the other part of it.
Right. I mean, it's the business part of show business they don't teach enough.
Yeah, and there's a way to do it without being an egomaniac. You don't have to be a self-congratulating jerk to do it. You can say, here's what I'm doing, and hope you like it. And if you don't, you're not getting your money back. So,
Right, exactly, right. No, right. But then also, I was going to say that kind of leads to my next question about, as a character actor, or do you view yourself as a character? Actually, do you view yourself as a character actor?
I just view myself as an actor. Whether I'm a character or a leading role, that all depends on who hires me for what and how much they pay me.
Okay.
But all of that is beyond that's beyond my control. Unless I'm producing something,
right?
It really is other people deciding it, and so I just go into it, with the same attitude, whether I'm there for a week or 2 weeks or 1 day.
Yeah, no, yeah. You're like, I'm here to work. You're hiring me.
Yeah.
I'm here to work.
I mean, there's more to do. There's more to do when you're the lead. There's a lot more work involved. But But as far as showing up to set and doing what I do, I mean, it really is pretty much, that's it. I'm there to work and have fun.
Well, Gabe, you're amazing. I mean, you're so much fun to talk to. You have to come back on the show again when you have more projects. And
love to.
Yeah, you're now we're connected. It's extra connection. Yes. Now we're connected.
Now there's no unexploding that bomb. We are here.
We are. No, you can't explode it. You're right.
Yes. But yeah, no. After the series comes out, I would love to come back on, especially if it does well.
And then we can talk about it.
If it doesn't, can I come back? If it doesn't do well, can I come back on and cry?
Yeah, come and cry. What about therapy session? What about an on-air therapy session about it?
That would be great. That would be wonderful.
That'd be great. Gabe Jarret is the actor. Can you tell me where they can find you? Here's a promotion part. If they can find you on social media, where can they find you?
They can find Instagram. It's everything is Gabriel Jarret, so it's at Gabriel Jarret. It's Gabriel Jarret. This is my name just stuck together.
Okay.
We froze. What happened?
Yeah, no, you froze too.
Looks like we're. You're.
Now you're back. Now you're back. Ooh. It's a Zoom, folks.
Sort of. Getting a little. Anyway, did you get the at Gabriel Jarret thing?
Yes, I did.
It's just my name.
Smush it together. So right now it looks good. Like for my thing, it looks good. There's nothing weird, so it looks good on this.
Excellent.
That's fine. So that's Gabriel Jarret, you guys. Go ahead and follow him. I'm James Lott Jr. X Connections is on Facebook. We're all James Lott Jr. are sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms and on TikTok. Follow me there. I do my crazy things on TikTok. And everybody, please have a good holiday season. Be safe out there because it's a little crazy out there. Be safe and stay sane. We'll see you next time.